Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, honourable guests, Commissioner Mimica. On behalf of the Directorate-General for International Cooperation and Development, I'm very pleased to welcome you here to this event of signature of the 5 framework partnership agreements with associations of local authorities, represented by 5 distinguished mayors from Istanbul, Paris, Almere, Dakar and Strovolos, though of course I know that you're first and foremost here in your capacity as presidents and otherwise of local associations. This meeting, I think is right to say, is the culmination of a year of intense negotiations, and I thank you very much for all the effort and time that you've put into it. It's very important for us because it's the first time that we've actually established this type of instrument, the framework partnership, which for us represents a strategic and a long-term partnership and type of cooperation which we've never done before. So for us, this event, I think, reflects our commitment to engage very proactively with local authorities in the development context, because you are the actors of good governance and sustainable development for the direct benefit of the citizens, who is, of course, at the core of our activities. We are creating partnerships for the future. We are focusing on participation and capacity development because we believe that the local level represents a real game changer in the longer term. We have an ambitious agenda, but I think that together with you, we will be able to achieve it, and we rely on you to become a model for this type of cooperation, which can subsequently be extended to other players. This is both a novel and an innovative process, and we look forward to working with you on the next step, which will move into implementation, where I'm sure we'll continue to work together in the same constructive manner that has characterized our cooperation so far. And with those words, I would now like to turn to Commissioner Mimica to give us his perspective on our cooperation with local authorities in the context of the post-2015 agenda, as well as the year of development. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you very much indeed. Honourable guests, mayors, presidents and secretaries general of the associations of local authorities, ladies and gentlemen, it is a true honour for me to welcome you here in Brussels in our premises as the main representatives of the international municipal movement. In our development policy, the European Union is a keen supporter of a regular dialogue and cooperation with local authorities and their associations from Europe and from partner countries. All of us should be aware that local authorities have important added value to bring to the development table. Today's signature of the framework partnership agreements with 5 associations of local authorities for the next 6 years is a concrete recognition of the local authorities' role. The European Commission and the Association of Local Authorities can work together for enhanced governance, eradication of poverty, and more effective development at the local level. We are at the beginning of a year that will be a landmark for international cooperation for several reasons. At global level, 2015 will be crucial for shaping the future development agenda, a new development agenda. We should ensure a bottom-up approach, bottom-up process to which we contribute, promoting global consensus, and we need to maintain open dialogue with all stakeholders from all countries, local authorities very much included. Today, eradicating poverty remains a top priority together with other global challenges such as climate change, scarcity of resources, environmental degradation and social inequalities. Eradicating poverty and ensuring sustainable development are closely interlinked. The European Union has proposed a global framework to address both issues, with a view to achieving an EU common position to feed the debate at the UN and worldwide. And this debate at the UN is now at the intergovernmental negotiation stage, the last stage of the debate on a new development agenda. In fact, it is an overarching vision that brings together the components of poverty, sustainability, equity, and security. In this context, I have no doubt that local authorities will have an important role to play, not only in contributing to the global process and definition of the goals, but also when goals and targets will be translated and adapted at the national level in real life, in real implementation. The Global Task Force of Local and Regional Governments will raise awareness on the importance of cities and inclusive, safe, resilient and sustainable human settlements during the Open Working Group discussions. The path ahead is complex. An agreement on post-2015 will require political courage and leadership at all levels. The European Union cannot achieve alone the promotion of human rights, good governance, sustainable development, inclusive growth, productive employment and environmental protection. A new global partnership is needed. Events such as today's signature contribute to forging partnerships for development. Also, at the European Union level, European Year for Development is for the first time devoted to an EU external actions topic. This provides a unique opportunity to present results of the European Union's commitment to eradicating poverty and inclusive growth worldwide. It also helps engage Europe's citizens and show that European Union development cooperation brings added value and makes a real difference. I wish European and non-European citizens, and especially youth, participate in the debate, as we put it as a motto of the European Year for Development, our world, our dignity, our future, and to maintain their strong support for a more equitable and sustainable world. As concerns local authorities, negotiating the strategic partnerships with the Commission has been an intense exercise. I warmly thank the secretariats of each association for their dedication. In designing these partnerships, the Commission wanted to take some factors into account. For instance, the current and future challenges pinpointed in continuous dialogue with association of local authorities. The subsidiarity principle requiring that decision and actions should be undertook the closest to the citizens, or the principles underpinning the future post-2015 development framework. We also took care of the policy priorities defined in our communication from 2013 on empowering local authorities in partner countries for enhanced governance and more effective development outcomes. Also, the association multi-annual strategies reflecting a path, a vision that we share is taken on board. We will work with all of your organizations in line with the country's national policies and in a constructive articulation with central authorities. Today's strategic partnerships create an institutional space for policy dialogue based on shared interests and common objectives. They must deliver real and concrete results. The Commission will channel some financial support to associations for the achievement of these principles and objectives. In some countries, the link to development processes may require larger capacities and stronger local governance structure. Certainly, our new joint engagement supports accountable and representative local authorities and leaders. We want to help unlock their full development potential as the public institution closest to citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, the months ahead will be both exciting and critical for the future of development cooperation. In this context, I intend to engage further with local authorities and their associations on the issues in front of us. I'm confident that strategic partnerships and related grants will create renewed awareness on the need to focus on territorial dimension of development. They will also further promote dynamic bottom-up and long-term development processes based on multi-actor and multi-sector approaches. Moreover, I trust that strategic partnerships will support local authorities in partner countries on capacity gaps, equal access to women and men to power, decision-making and accountable leadership at all local levels. The partnerships will increase demands for services delivery and the need for local authorities to play a bigger role in defining and implementing national public policies to respond to rapid urbanization process and to crisis situations. Let me convey a message of encouragement to European Union local authorities and to the associations of local authorities. It would be great if you could enhance decentralized cooperation, transferring knowledge and know-how to peer local authorities outside Europe, and vice versa, also learning from them. We have already started joining forces towards the creation of an enabling environment where local authorities can play a role in good governance and sustainable development. Nevertheless, this can be successful only if actors are accountable and responsive. It is time to make the motto, think globally, act locally, a reality. I wish you all plenty of success in this close and long-term cooperation to enhance the efficiency, accountability and relevance of international cooperation from the local to the global level. Thank you.
Many thanks, Commissioner, for these encouraging words and for setting the framework for all our future work ahead. I think it is now time to move on to the next phase, which is indeed remarks by our guests. And we will start with the Mayor of Istanbul, Mr. Topbaş, who is also President of United Cities and Local Governments. Please, the floor is yours.
For those who are present in the room, but for all the local and regional governments around the world.
Avrupa Birliği ile ilişkilerimize uzun bir yol kat ettik. Bunu daha da ileri noktalara taşıyacağımızı biliyoruz. Bugün imzalamak üzere olduğumuz stratejik ortaklık hem Avrupa Birliği için hem biz yerel yönetimler için çok önemli bir adım teşkil ediyor.
Our relationship with the EU have come a long way, and hopefully we will take that even further. The strategic partnership that we're going to sign today means so much, both for the EU and our local authority associations.
Biz özellikle yerel yönetimler olarak bu konuda bir Avrupa Birliği'nin göstermiş olduğu hassasiyete özellikle teşekkür ediyoruz.
And we really appreciate, as local authorities, the sensitivity that the EU has showed in this sense.
Bize büyük sorumluluklar yüklediği gibi bizi daha da yüreklendirdi ve işbirliğini çok daha ilerlere taşıma konusunda heyecanlarımızı artırdı.
This agreement is quite challenging at the same time, but it's also encouraging. It also encourages us to look for even more cooperation.
Bütün toplantılarda dile getiriyorum. Yaşadığımız dünyada tüm insanların kaderleri birbirine bağlı. Bu bakıma biz yerel yönetimler olarak Avrupa Birliği'nin ve Birleşmiş Milletler'in çözüm ortağı olmak istiyoruz. Hükümetlerin çözüm ortağı olmak istiyoruz. Yerelin bu konuda aktif rol almasını istiyoruz.
As I always try to mention as much as I can, in today's world, the destinies of all humanity are codependent. That is why we would like the local level to become solution partners both to the UN and the EU.
Biz bu anlaşmayı esasında sağlam ilişkilerin önemli bir kazanımı olarak görmekteyiz. Yerel ve bölgesel yönetimlerin ağlarını sürekli olarak daha da geliştireceğine inanmaktayız.
We consider this agreement to be the culmination of a long-term relationship which will also require a constant cooperation between the networks of local and regional authorities.
Bugün burada bulunan teşkilatlar köklü bir geçmişe sahiptir. Yerel yönetim topluluğunun ortaya koyduğu güçlü inisiyatiflerdir. UCLG'nin varlığının temelinde bu işbirliği ve güç birliği vardır.
The organizations present here today have a long history and they are the initiative, a powerful initiative of the local government community itself. And at the very existence, at the core of the very existence of UCLG lies that cooperation and that sense of unity.
Bu hedefler doğrultusunda çok önemli bir ilerleme kaydetmiş oluyoruz.
We have made great progress towards that goal.
Bu stratejik ortaklık esasında yerel yönetimlerin kalkınmadaki rolünü tanımlamakla kalmıyor. Aynı zamanda yerel yönetimlerin organize olmaktaki gücünü ortaya koymak.
The strategic partnership not only recognizes the role of local governments in the development agenda, but it also recognizes the capacity of local governments to become organized.
Bu anlaşma aynı zamanda zaman açısından çok önemli, zamanlama açısından. Tam da dünyanın kalkınma gündemini tanımladığı bir dönemde gerçekleşiyor.
And it is also very timely, the partnership. At a time to be realized at a time when the world is defining the new development agenda.
Böylece 2015 sonrası gündemini sağlayacağımız katkı büyük olacaktır ve Habitat 3 ile ilgili yönelik çalışmalarımız da bize güç katacaktır.
It will allow us to make a greater contribution to the post-2015 development agenda and it will also empower us in our work towards Habitat 3.
Tabii hepimizin bildiği ve kabul ettiği gibi yerel ve bölgesel yönetimler insanlık ve dünya için son derece önemli, vatandaşlara en yakın yönetim noktalarıdır.
We all agree that the local and regional governments mean so much for the world and the humanity as the closest levels of government to the people.
Bu anlaşma yerel yönetimlerin önemini daha da ön plana çıkaracaktır. Sürdürülebilir kalkınma konusunda önemli bir açılım desteği verecektir.
And this agreement will put the role of local governments even more to the forefront in that agenda, the sustainable development agenda.
Ve bu doğrultuda yerel ve bölgesel kurumların kapasitesini artıracaktır. Öğrenmeye açık, etkili bir kurumlaşmayı sağlayacaktır. Tüm seviyelerde daha iyi bir yönetişimi ortaya koymak için bir iddia ortaya çıkacaktır.
It will increase the capacity of local and regional governments. It will allow the institutions to become open to learning and be more effective, and it will also encourage better governance at all levels.
Üyelerimize değişen ihtiyaçları doğrultusunda daha iyi hizmet etmeyi sağlayacaktır.
The agreement will allow us to better serve the ever-changing needs of our members.
Aynı zamanda bu stratejik ortaklık küresel görev gücünü kuvvetlendirecektir.
Well, at the same time, it should enable us to consolidate the global task force of local and regional
Küresel
governments.
sorunlara üreteceğimiz çözümlerle destek vereceğiz.
We will be supporting your institutions with the solutions that we will be coming up for global problems.
Her yönüyle güçlü yeni bir küresel gündeme imza atmayı istiyoruz.
Because we would like the new global agenda to be so potent in all its dimensions.
Birlikte daha dirençli, daha kapsayıcı, daha geniş kitleleri ulaşacağımıza inanıyorum.
We're hoping to create networks that are more resilient, more inclusive and that have a wider reach.
Bunların temelinde demokratik ve katılımcı yönetim anlayışı vardır.
And at the basis of that lies democratic and participatory governance.
Çünkü barış ve dayanışma içerisinde diyalog gereklidir.
And there will also be at the core peace and solidarity, a dialogue
Bizim
culture.
müsiacı teşkilatımızın temel ilkesi budur esasında.
And that is the principle, the primary principle of our UCLG organization.
Bütün çalışmalarımızın nihai hedefi, hatı zatında hizmet ettiğimiz toplumların yaşam kalitesini artırmak, herkes için hizmet üretmek, sosyal dayanışmayı teşvik etmek ve eşitliği sağlayıcı tedbirler almak, gelecek nesillerin ihtiyaçlarını dikkate alan kentlerin gelişimini sağlamaktır.
The ultimate goal of all our work is to increase the living standards of the communities that we serve and provide service for all, take the necessary measures that will encourage social solidarity and equality, and also come up with cities that take the needs of the future, the youth, into better account.
Bu önemli hedeflerimize ortak olduğu için biz Avrupa Birliği'ne özellikle teşekkür ediyoruz.
Thus, I would like to thank the European Union for being a partner to those goals.
Kültürler arası paylaşımı artırmanın yeni yollarını bulacağız birlikte.
We will find new ways to enhance the intercultural exchange.
Ve dünya barışı ve refah için yeni bir dil geliştirmeliyiz.
And we will need to come up with a new language for world peace and welfare.
Ve bunun için de hepimize önemli görevler düşmekte.
Which will require all of us here today to play a role.
Hazreti Mevlana'nın güzel bir sözü var. Aynı dili konuşanlar değil, aynı duyguyu paylaşanlar anlaşır diyor.
I'd like to quote Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi. He says that it's not those who speak the same language, but those who share the same feelings that can actually communicate.
Önümüzdeki sürecin yeni fırsatlar sunacağına inanıyorum.
I believe the process ahead will provide many opportunities.
Ve bundan dolayı da insanlığın yaşadığı sorunları çözmede beraberce çözüm ortağı olarak çalışmalarımızı sürdüreceğiz. Daha aktif olacağız.
And I'm convinced that we will be even more active as solution partners to come up with solutions to the problems that humanity
İnanıyorum
faces.
ki burada temsil ettiğimiz birlikler, yerel yönetimler ve yerel ortaklarımızla birlikte biz yerelde bu çözüm sürecinde önemli katkı sunacağız.
I am convinced that we will have major contributions to this development agenda as the organizations that we represent here today and also on behalf of our local partners.
Tabii özellikle Avrupa Birliği'nin ilk kez bir çerçeve anlaşmaya stratejik ortaklık olarak bir tanım getirerek bu işe yerellik katmasını çok önemsiyoruz.
I especially appreciate the EU's initiative to embark on such an innovative, novel process today.
Çünkü bizler yerel yönetimler olarak sizlerin de bildiğiniz gibi halka en yakın ama siyaset üretmeyen, eşit mesafede onların geleceğini hazırlayan bir yönetim anlayışı sunmaktayız.
Because as you would appreciate, as the closest level of government to the people, we have no political motives. We only try to come up with equal distance to each and every member of our societies.
Farklılıkları bir zenginlik olarak kabul ediyoruz.
We see all our differences as a diversity, as a richness.
Ve şunu gayet iyi biliyoruz ki insan her şeyi affeder, adam yerine konmamayı affetmez.
And we know very well that the humankind, a man can forgive anything but being ignored.
Evet, ben de teşekkür ediyorum. Bu imzamızın gelecek adına önemli bir basamak olacağına inanıyorum. Katkısı olan herkese ve özellikle Sayın Direktör ve Komiserimiz size Avrupa Birliği'ne teşekkürlerimi arz ediyorum.
Thank you all so very much, especially the Commissioner and the Director. I wish the best for the future of this strategic partnership, and I'm hoping that it will have major contributions to our work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for this positive contribution. A small change to the agenda. We now move on to Mrs. Jorritsma, who's President of Council of European Municipalities and Regions, as well as representative of PLATFORMA, and not least Mayor of Almere. Please, I pass you the floor.
Thank you. Yes, and I apologize for being so impolite to go earlier than the Mayor of Paris, but I unfortunately have an obligation, and if you're nearby, you can do these kind of things, unfortunately. It would have been better if it was far away, then I would have to stay anyway. Mr. Commissioner, ladies and gentlemen, it's really a great honor for me to have this opportunity to speak to you briefly on behalf of the Council of European Municipalities and Regions and all the other members of PLATFORMA. We are gathered today to sign an agreement, and as you mentioned already, Mr. Mimica, which will link our 5 networks and the European Commission together for 7 years. An agreement that lays out the basis for collaboration between our institutions and which embodies our shared values like democracy, freedom, justice, solidarity, and human dignity. We are about to embark on an adventure that we all hope will allow us to contribute to the changes that our world needs so much. With this first strategic partnership between DG DEFCO, Europe 8 and networks of local and regional authorities, the signatories have opted to stand at the forefront of this change by proposing unprecedented and modern forms of cooperation. By signing this strategic partnership, we are firmly stating together that development can only be achieved through collective action, which requires the pooling together of all our resources, our efforts and abilities. So this strategic partnership is really the culmination of years of mobilization carried out by local and regional elected representatives and our organizations, a process which has been led by CEMR and all the other members of PLATFORMA to secure recognition for the role played by local and regional authorities in the European Union's external actions as political actors, as agents driving through change, as components essential to the development of modern democratic societies. To a certain extent, this day can be seen as the celebration of a long journey that we have made together and that originated from the adoption of the parliamentary resolution proposed by Pierre Shapira, which resulted in the creation of PLATFORMA, the structured dialogue on the publication of the 2013 communication, which was the result of joint mobilization of efforts. Today, the Commission and the Member States recognize that subnational governments, through their actions, the policies that they introduce and the powers they exercise, contribute to social cohesion, to the economic development of territories, to equality, to the combat against poverty, to citizens' participation in democratic life, and to gender equality on their territories. The movements that we represent pledges the contribute to European development policy and to mobilize all local and regional governments, particularly in Europe, in pursuit of our shared goals. Today we undertake to act as the custodians of the commitments taken by the European Union and to safeguard the ambitions which were announced by the Member States in 2013. And on behalf of all the members of PLATFORMA and the Council of European Municipalities and Regions, I am pleased to share with you our resolve to work side by side with you, Mr. Commissioner, so that these ambitions can be transformed into concrete actions on the ground. These strategic partnerships also represent the recognition of decentralized cooperation as a full-fledged public policy in its own right, and one that works in a complementary fashion alongside the actions carried out by our governments and the European Commission. We are the heirs of a movement that has been around for more than a century and which was the dream of mayors powerful enough to overcome national antagonism. Local governments are key actors in the development of a country, and they should be strengthened to fully play their development role. Decentralized cooperation has high impact. It strengthens existing institutions, which provide sustainable solutions for the future. So the peer-to-peer cooperation is built on trust and ownership. Local traction ensures that all local stakeholders are involved. Mr. Commissioner, during your coming travels, I invite you to meet with local and regional elected representatives and representatives from local government associations to show you what we have accomplished together, and you will grasp the full extent and impact of the actions being carried out already. I would like to conclude by talking about the year 2015, which is both momentous and portentous symbolically. It is a challenging, difficult time in Europe, and even more so for too many countries all over the world. The decisions that our leaders will be taking over the next few months will determine the world's course of development for the next 15 to 30 years. By designating 2015 as the European Year for Development, the European Union has set forth the goal of raising European citizens' awareness of the major social and environmental challenges facing the world. We undertake to act as your partner by bringing this year's concept to life on our territories, by showing the impact of our actions, and by convincing people of the need to promote policies of cooperation and international development. And lastly, I would like to address a few words to the co-signers of this partnership. It really is a great privilege to sign this agreement alongside with you. It is also a great collective responsibility that we are undertaking together to ensure success for this first strategic partnership for those we represent, for the European Union, for democracy and for peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Maintenant, j'ai le plaisir de souhaiter la bienvenue à Madame Hidalgo, maire de Paris, et présidente de l'Association internationale des maires francophones. S'il vous plaît, Madame.
Merci beaucoup. Je suis particulièrement heureuse de vous retrouver aujourd'hui ici, au cœur de l'Europe. C'est un grand jour qui voit une des plus importantes institutions de notre continent, la Commission européenne, à travers votre direction et à travers votre responsabilité, Monsieur le Commissaire, s'engager résolument aux côtés des pouvoirs locaux. Je vous salue très respectueusement, tout comme je salue mes collègues maires et présidents des grands réseaux des territoires internationaux qui s'engagent, comme l'Association internationale des maires francophones que je préside, en faveur du développement mondial. Cet engagement ici de la Commission européenne, des maires et des réseaux en dit long sur l'évolution des affaires du monde et je m'en réjouis. Le monde change et ses modalités d'action aussi. Vous l'avez dit, Monsieur le Commissaire, dans votre propos, il faut maintenant passer réellement aux pensées globales, agir local. Et je crois que c'est ce que nous sommes en train de faire ensemble ici. Parce que, en effet, au-delà de la reconnaissance de nos réseaux de villes, ce partenariat stratégique augure d'une importante évolution de la coopération internationale et je veux vous en remercier. Nous sommes désormais tous convaincus que l'avenir de la coopération se joue très largement entre les territoires. Vous me permettrez d'ailleurs, en tant que maire de Paris, présidente de l'Association des maires francophones, de vous dire combien ce que l'on appelle aujourd'hui la diplomatie des villes est devenu essentiel pour échanger nos expertises, nos solutions avec les autres grandes villes et aussi mettre en place une solidarité internationale plus efficace parce que plus près des territoires et des besoins. Nous, les maires, à travers nos réseaux, mais dans nos vies de maires, nous partons toujours des besoins, des usages de la population pour construire nos politiques. Et je crois que cette expérience qui est la nôtre, qui nous permet de penser global mais d'agir toujours local, est une expérience extrêmement utile et je vous suis très reconnaissante de lui donner la force et la place que vous lui donnez à travers vos politiques et ce que nous allons signer. Je veux en profiter pour remercier le président de la Commission à travers vous, Monsieur le Commissaire, et remercier mes collègues maires qui ont témoigné ces jours derniers, non seulement de leur soutien, mais de leur affection dans les tragiques événements que nous avons connus à Paris. Et vous dire que ce soutien et cette affection nous obligent toutes et tous à agir vers ces politiques qui permettent à nos villes d'être plus inclusives, d'apporter des solutions au développement, non seulement dans le monde, mais dans chacun de nos territoires. Je voulais profiter de cette occasion pour vous dire cela. L'Association internationale des maires francophones est bien sûr partie prenante de ce partenariat inédit avec l'Union européenne, avec laquelle elle partage la même idée du progrès, parce que l'Association internationale des maires francophones s'est construite d'abord sur la base d'une langue partagée et parlée sur les 5 continents, mais au-delà de cette langue, ce sont des valeurs et les valeurs universelles qui nous réunissent et qui nous font agir au quotidien. Cette association est une très belle association. Beaucoup d'ailleurs des maires ici présents y participent. Et c'est une association qui s'est donnée comme objectif d'agir très concrètement, de soutenir les maires dans des projets qu'ils portent dans leur collectivité, mais de soutenir aussi des actions menées par plusieurs maires entre eux. C'est ainsi que nous avons vu se développer, et notamment grâce à nos collègues africains, et Khalifa Sall est un des précurseurs de ces initiatives, nous avons vu se développer un rôle de maire médiateur qui interviennent dans des conflits de territoire où les maires, entre eux, peuvent aider à la résolution de ces conflits. C'est ainsi qu'un travail important a été fait en Afrique entre les maires de Brazzaville et de Kinshasa, travail auquel Khalifa Sall a pris part. C'est ainsi aussi que nous avons travaillé avec plusieurs maires dans le cadre de l'Association internationale des maires francophones pour aider et accompagner à la résolution de problèmes liés aux Grands Lacs et aux pêcheurs de différents pays, de différentes villes pêchant dans ces Grands Lacs, ce qui engendrait des conflits. Là aussi, le rôle de médiation des maires de la IMF est quelque chose que je voulais signaler parce que au-delà des projets très concrets que nous portons aussi en matière d'éducation, en matière de santé, puisque la IMF finance des centres de santé, finance des projets d'éducation, des projets qui ont trait à la question de l'eau, mais aussi des projets, par exemple, pour promouvoir la place des femmes dans les pouvoirs locaux. Nous avons aussi ce travail engagé sur la médiation qui est quelque chose d'important et qui va tout à fait dans le sens des objectifs que nous nous fixons. Donc le plan que nous signons, qui est un plan très important pour la IMF, va permettre de soutenir davantage encore les villes dans des projets concrets pour créer ces infrastructures, pour permettre l'expression de la citoyenneté, pour permettre l'éducation, pour garantir aussi la santé, la sécurité, préserver l'environnement. La question de l'environnement est aussi un sujet que nous portons de façon très résolue au sein de la IMF. Et puis, je l'ai évoqué tout à l'heure, la question de l'égalité entre les femmes et les hommes. Je veux vous donner un exemple. Lorsque nous étions lors de notre dernière assemblée générale réunie à Kinshasa, nous avons soutenu les femmes de la République démocratique du Congo qui se préparaient aux élections municipales pour qu'elles puissent bénéficier des soutiens en formation pour pouvoir se présenter dans ces élections locales. Et nous les avons soutenues aussi dans la constitution de réseaux, bien sûr ouverts à toutes les formations politiques, mais de réseaux leur permettant d'exister en tant que femmes dans les pouvoirs locaux. Je crois que c'est un point très important aussi, eu égard aux objectifs que nous portons ensemble. Donc aujourd'hui, nous affirmons des ambitions très hautes et nous les traduisons par des actes très concrets. Voilà en fait la portée de cette signature dont je me félicite et qui incarne pleinement cette idée généreuse que nous faisons du progrès et de la démocratie. Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la maire, de cet soutien très, très actif. And now I'll pass the floor to Mr. Sall, who is President of United Cities and Local Governments of Africa, as well as Mayor of Dakar. Please.
Je vous remercie, Monsieur le Commissaire, Mesdames et Messieurs les directeurs, Mesdames et Messieurs les premiers responsables, présidents et secrétaires généraux des associations internationales des collectivités locales, après que je me sois associé à mes prédécesseurs qui se sont réjouis de la tenue de cette belle cérémonie, ainsi que des vœux qu'ils vous ont présentés, Monsieur le Commissaire, je voudrais, au nom de CGLUA, CGLUA c'est la branche africaine de CGLU, vous dire l'espoir que nous nourrissons par rapport à cette cérémonie et ce partenariat en construction. Elle a déjà atteint un de ses objectifs, puisque vos responsables savent que les négociations étaient l'occasion pour les différentes associations de se mettre ensemble, de se parler, de discuter ensemble et de confronter leurs expériences et leurs perspectives. C'est déjà un premier acquis qu'il faudra consolider. C'est la raison pour laquelle, Monsieur le Commissaire, nous voudrions insister pour que ce dialogue politique soit pérennisé, soit consolidé et amplifié, parce que c'est la voie à suivre pour que, comme dit Anne, le penser global et le agir local puissent être effectifs. Je voudrais aussi, au nom des collectivités locales africaines, vous dire que nous sommes très heureux d'être ici, puisque notre continent est celui des paradoxes. C'est un continent très éprouvé par la nature, par les choses. Mais il est en même temps le continent du devenir et de l'espoir. Tout le monde s'accorde à dire que la locomotive économique de demain est l'Afrique. De par notre potentiel, nos ressources humaines, jeunes, riches, nos ressources énergétiques et tout ce dont la nature nous a dotés. Ces cultures locales d'Afrique sont heureuses de se retrouver avec vous pour construire ce partenariat stratégique. Elles ont déjà commencé au niveau de l'Union africaine, où la Commission a déjà adopté la charte de la décentralisation et mis en place un haut conseil des collectivités locales, ce qui est un pas important dans l'inclusivité de la gestion de notre continent, mais surtout dans la place qu'on fait aux collectivités locales dans notre continent. Ce qui importe aujourd'hui, c'est que nous avons tous conscience que le développement mondial se fera pour être efficace au niveau des collectivités locales. Anne l'a rappelé tout à l'heure, les maires sont les premiers interlocuteurs des populations. Ils portent leurs aspirations, leurs besoins et leurs inquiétudes. C'est vers eux que tout le monde se dirige. Et il est heureux que l'Union européenne ait compris qu'elle doit désormais s'ouvrir aux autorités locales, qui sont d'abord des autorités légitimes, mais qui complètent l'action des États, des gouvernements et des ONG. Vous aviez l'habitude de ne discuter qu'avec les ONG. Il est heureux que désormais qu'il existe un dialogue franc et direct avec nous, parce que nous sommes ceux qui sont à la base légitimes, responsables et très impliqués. Et c'est la raison pour laquelle, dans le cadre des accords post-Cotonou, nous souhaiterions que le volet gouvernance locale, politique de décentralisation puisse prendre sa place. C'est essentiel. Et une troisième suggestion, que les délégations européennes dans les pays puissent pouvoir maintenant discuter avec les associations nationales des collectivités locales. C'est très important, puisque tout ce qui se fait dans nos États, par les gouvernements, à travers les gouvernements et par les gouvernements. La démocratie s'ancre dans le continent et dans nos pays. Et dans beaucoup de pays, les responsables de collectivités locales ne sont pas souvent du même bord que les autorités nationales. Vous comprendrez aisément les problèmes que ça pose. Mais surtout, pour qu'il y ait plus de cohérence dans la démarche et les politiques, ce serait bien que l'inclusivité puisse prévaloir. Et à ce niveau, responsabiliser les collectivités locales serait une très bonne chose. En tout cas, nous sommes heureux de nous retrouver aujourd'hui pour entamer une belle aventure, celle de cette collaboration entre l'Union européenne et les collectivités locales africaines, Nous y sommes préparés, nous y croyons et nous ferons tout pour qu'elle réussisse. Je vous remercie de votre attention.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Maire. And I will now turn to the final speaker, which is Mr. Savvides, who is board member of the Commonwealth Local Government Forum and mayor of Strovolos. Thank you. Please.
Thank you. Mr. Commissioner Mimica, senior officials present, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I extend warm greetings on behalf of the Commonwealth Local Government Forum chairperson, Mayor Yule, the Secretary General, Mr. Cartwright, and our many members in the 53 countries of the Commonwealth, the greatest number are from developing countries in Asia, Africa, the Caribbean, and the Pacific, including many small island developing states. The Commonwealth Local Government Forum, CLGF, is delighted to sign the new partnership agreement with the European Commission. This builds on the positive provisions of the 2013 Communication on Empowering Local Authorities, which I recall was first announced at the 2013 CLGF conference in Kampala, hosted by our patron, His Excellency President Museveni. This new partnership is also much in line with the GLT's own tradition of partnership working, including between our own local and central government members, for example, in the promotion of local democracy and good governance as set out in the Commonwealth Aberdeen principles endorsed by our 15 heads of government. Today's ceremony represents a historic recognition by the European Union of the key role of developmental local government that has a strong commitment to the pursuit of economic and social development, as well as the promotion of democracy and human rights. We are pleased that we are engaged in a collective approach with our local government partners around the table. Local government has been working together with the Commission and other development partners, such as the United Nations Development Programme, in the international discussion on the post-2015 development agenda. In this, we look to continued European Commission political support for, first, maintaining the current 17 proposed Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, including the new SDG on cities and human settlements, which reflects the impact of global urbanization. Second, ensuring that the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals is, as you, Mr. Commissioner, said, a bottom-up approach, through localizing of the Sustainable Development Goals, where local government can set, implement, and monitor goals and targets. And third, supporting the localizing of resources alongside the localizing of the Sustainable Development Goals, so that local government has the means to undertake the new tasks expected of it in 2015-2030. The 2015 CLGF High-Level Conference in Gaborone, Botswana this June, hosted by President Kama and attended by senior partners as Mrs. Helen Clark of UNDP, will provide an opportunity where partners here can meet to discuss key policy issues prior to the September United Nations SDG Summit. I would therefore like to take this opportunity to extend a cordial invitation to you, Mr. Commissioner, and all colleagues present to join us at this important event. Local government in my country, Cyprus, and elsewhere in Europe, has historic links with our counterparts across the world. The new European Union partnership will enable us to strengthen these links and to forge new ones, in particular, South-South partnerships. CLGF looks forward to working ever more closely together with the European Union to realize our common aspiration for the achievement of a global development that is truly universal, sustainable, and democratic. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all mayors for those very, very supportive and positive words, which will, I think, vastly encourage us to pursue our work to make this new adventure a great success. But please now, I think it's time to move to the actual signature.
in the
A side letter will be signed between the European Union and the International Association, United Cities and Local Government, on the successful conclusion of the negotiation of the Framework Partnership Agreement. The side letter will be signed by Mr. Neven Mimica, Commissioner for International Cooperation and Development, and Mr. Kadir Topbaş, President of the United Cities and Local Government and Mayor of Istanbul. Thank you very much. La deuxième signature d'aujourd'hui concerne le partenariat entre l'Union européenne et l'Association internationale des maires francophones pour la conclusion des négociations de l'accord de partenariat stratégique. Le commissaire pour la coopération internationale et le développement, M. Neven Mimica, signe pour l'Union européenne. L'Association internationale des maires francophones est représentée par sa présidente, Mme Anne Hidalgo, maire de Paris. Merci. La troisième signature d'aujourd'hui concerne le partenariat entre l'Union européenne et l'association régionale Cités unies et gouvernements locaux d'Afrique pour la conclusion des négociations de l'accord de partenariat stratégique. Le commissaire pour la coopération internationale et le développement, M. Neven Mimica, signe pour l'Union européenne. L'association Cités unies et gouvernements locaux d'Afrique est représentée par son président, M. Khalifa Sall, maire de Dakar. Thank you very much. The fourth signature you will witness today is the signing of the side letter between the European Union and the International Association Commonwealth Local Government Forum on the successful conclusion of the negotiation of the FPA. For the EU, signed DEFCO Commissioner, Mr. Neven Mimica. The Commonwealth Local Government Forum is represented by Mr. Lazaros Savvides, CLGF board member and mayor of Strovolos. Thank you. For the last signature today, a side letter will be signed between the European Union and the Regional Association, Council of European Municipalities and Regions, on the successful conclusion of the negotiation of the FPA. The side letter will be signed by Mr. Neven Mimica, Commissioner for International Cooperation and Development, and Mr. Frédéric Vallier, Secretary General of the Council of European Municipalities and Regions. I now invite the signatories of the different side letter to come on stage for a family picture. Thank you very much and goodbye. Yeah?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Plaisir de vous revoir à Dakar.